What's going on? Super Nintendo Ed here. You can call me Chris if you want, but I'm not here alone. Welcome to episode 3 of Stay Connected. Nope, can't say that. We'll get stricken from the internet. But yeah, I'm not here alone. I'm here with Wicked.
Halo, and I got some lemonade with me this time.
Oh, Wicked, what kind of lemonade did you get?
Uncle Matt's organic, no sugar added lemonade.
Uncle Uncle Russell's extra sugar
Yeah, exactly.
decaffeinated lemonade.
100%, 100% sugar.
All sugar all the time, baby. Um, we are here with another episode of you know, you bet, Stay Connected, your number 8 Xbox podcast on the internet. We are here talking about the latest Xbox news, which let's be honest, with everything going on with PlayStation Plus rolling out their new service, all the news is on that and not so much on Microsoft as they have about 2 weeks probably of silence before they have their Microsoft slash Bethesda event, right? Wicked.
Yeah, yep. They might have stuff in the ninth for the Summer Game Fest thing, but probably just some small stuff there.
Right, they might have something there. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, so next week I think we should do the old get together and predict what we're gonna have at the Bethesda. Even then, it might be pushing it a little bit before it all. Like, who knows how close we're gonna get before everything leaks out. Um,
Yeah, yep.
but as long as it doesn't, we're gonna have that next week, right?
Yep, yep.
But this
Hopefully
week,
nothing. Yeah, hopefully nothing. Hopefully nothing leaks out this time.
yeah, hopefully, yeah, that's the thing. I would like it to be a surprise. Well, this is where I stand on it. I want to know everything now, but I also don't want to be spoiled. You know what I mean?
Yep, it's nice to know stuff, but it's gonna take years for it to come out, so might as well have a surprise for it.
Yes, exactly. I agree. Um, so there wasn't much news today, this week, I should say. The most news, well, there was a couple of little tidbits here and there. A couple of new releases, and whether they're on Game Pass or they became free to play. And yeah, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I think we should just go over the news real quick because there's not that much of it. There was one thing I wanted to touch on, which is um, of the games that are leaving Game Pass soon. Um, w- One of those games that's leaving soon is none other than Knockout City. And the reason it's leaving is because next week on June 1st, Knockout City is going to be self published and it is going to be free to play. So they're leaving EA Play, which is a part of Game Pass. They're leaving that and then just going to be out full time, all on their own, starting a new season. We'll see how it goes and how it is handled from there. But yeah, that's not it. There's a couple other games leaving. I think what is it? The end of this week, beginning of next, where it's
Yes.
like Resident Evil 7, Farming Simulator 19, that super hot mind control DLC. Yes, Your Grace, and NHL 20. But I mean, NHL 22 is out. We don't
Yeah.
really need that.
Same with the farming simulator. They just put the new one in
Yeah,
Game Pass.
and Yes, Your Grace. May I have another is also out. So that's why they're getting rid of that. That was a good dad joke. The one bit of news, well, it's not even really that much news, just it got announced, and it's just one of the first ones that I can think of that is coming to Xbox, and this just tells you how popular they expect this game to be, which is they are coming out with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Shredder's Revenge is going to be a part of limited run games, and they have an Xbox version as well as the PlayStation and a Switch. And that to me, that tells me that they expect this game to sell gangbusters. And there's enough for them to order, because the reason that limited run games don't have uh their games, the Xbox games, is because you need to order a certain number in order for them to allow it. So this is going to be one of those games that they order that number. They reach that number.
Yeah. Yeah, and isn't it not going to be just on limited run website? It's going to be in retail stores too.
Yeah, it's going to start with in limited run on the store, but then it's also going to store shelves, and then they also have that collector's edition. But I don't know who is doing that. But yeah, it seems the game itself is going to be $25 if you get the digital version. It'll probably be what, $40 if you get the physical, I'm guessing. Um but yeah, this is an Xbox original, or Xbox One, PS4 and Switch. There, it doesn't seem to have a native Series X and PS5 version.
Yeah, that's kind of weird since you would think it would be a big IP and then have enough money to do those versions, but I guess it's just too late for that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe it was, it's probably like a licensing nightmare as it is to get it to come out. So it's kind of like, you remember that Saturday Morning collection, which had like DuckTales, it had like Darkwing Duck, it had was it top spin?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that one. I bought that on sale.
Yeah, so that came out, and then the Switch came out. It came out in like November, December, and then they just never brought it out on the Switch because they said it was a licensing thing. And yeah, so they couldn't get the rights to it, but sadly, quite sadly. But yeah, so there was that and the Knockout City, and then we also, can you think of any other news this week, Wicked?
Replaced got delayed till next year.
Replace did get delayed. They said the reasoning was a lot of, well, there's like the support studio that was helping them is affected by the war going on right now. And so they said, as much as they don't want to, they're going to go ahead and push the game back to 2023. And I'll be honest, I never knew they even said it was coming 2022. I guess last,
Yeah,
was it at the end of the trailer, maybe during the
just,
E3 event?
yeah. I didn't think it would be 2022 either.
Yeah, neither did I. The
I thought
um
it actually came out because that recompiled and replaced. There's kind of similar names, so I just confused them with one another.
so you thought it was already out.
Yeah,
Well, so since this isn't out, I mean, I'm still holding on to hope that the because of the game I'm anticipating the most outside of maybe Mario Strikers Battle Charge, right? The thing I'm holding on and hoping for the most is Somerville.
yeah. That should be coming out this year. I
Yeah,
would hope.
fingers crossed, that is a Game Pass day one. So is Replaced, which will still be day one, just that day will not be until 2023 at the earliest.
Yeah. Do you think
um
they now? Do you think they'll have too many games in 2023?
no, because
Everything's getting delayed.
I think there's going to be a lot of games that are supposed to come out in 2023,
It just
and
gets
they
out of there.
just don't make it, or they're like, this is so packed, we can just, I think what we're going to have is, it's going to be just like this year, where like January to like what, April, were kind of just jam packed with hit after hit after hit, May, and then May was just hardly anything, and then it just slowly. I think there could be a chance they have a lot of stuff coming out all throughout the year. Like, who knows what's going to happen in June? We got a couple games coming out in June. Um, oh, you know what? There was another game that got announced to have a date, which is September 6th, and that is Temtem 1.0. Is that a game you're going to get, Wicked?
Maybe, but the price is too high for me. So hopefully it's Game Pass day one because of the Humble Games is publishing that.
Humble Games, yeah. And they also did Wild at Heart and it, a couple other
Yeah,
games, right?
yeah. Because didn't they have like a deal for Game Pass for like
I think they
so
might
many
have
games?
said they had a deal, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
something like it would
well,
be cool because like multiplayer Pokemon stuff uh, seems interesting, but I don't know if they can actually pull it off.
yeah. It's only a matter of time. We'll have to wait and see. Really enjoyed what I've played of it on the PS5. I want to play it in handheld mode on my Switch, so I might get it on the Switch, but I don't know how it's going to perform over there. Um, hmm, we'll have to wait and see. I'm still waiting for Microsoft to release a handheld Xbox, even if it's just mm, cloud only. I mean, sure, I could use my phone, but ADHD over here. Hello, hi. Yes, it's me. And I like to have multiple devices, so if everything's all on the one and I'm playing a game and like what am I supposed to do while a game loads, you know? What am I supposed
Yep.
to do while there's a long lengthy cutscene that I can't skip? I instead have nothing to look at and then I get bored of the game and just close it out. Yeah. So, if they could give me a handheld system that I could play. That'd be nice. Um, in the meantime, oof, nope. But speaking of play, Dylan, this is. Let me tell you something. There was a game. Okay, I'm gonna go to my games now. If you're watching it on YouTube, you'll see. You'll see what I'm talking about. There's a game, and it came out earlier in the week, aka probably yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And it was a game called Roller Champions. And Roller Champions came out. It launched right at midnight. They didn't wait till 10 a.m. and launched it right at midnight. And I was like, okay, this is it. I'll hop in. I'll play it. And there's a bit of a lengthy tutorial that you can't skip. But once you get past that, there's this game of roller jam, roller ball, roller champions, where you and two other people are just riding around in a circle and you're trying to get momentum to pass people. You're pressing buttons to knock them down. And then once you grab the ball and your team and take it in enough laps, it opens up the net and you can shoot it in there and score. And it feels pretty good to do that, but I don't know how much I'm going to play it, especially since it is cross play, cross progression, but the problem is there's like it's just a lot of menus to I went to go play a second game and there was just it seemed to be a long wait and I was like, "No, I don't think I'm going to keep waiting." And instead, I turned it off and I'm not sure. I'm not sure when I'll go back to it. I'm not sure if I'll go back to it. Is this something you're going to check out?
Yeah, because it sounds like a Game of the Year contender, but I don't know. Maybe I'll check it out for a little bit.
What? It sounds like
Yeah,
a game of the year contender, did you just say?
yeah. You're saying all these great things about it, so I might have to check it out.
Well, yeah, I mean, if we play, we can play some
Yeah,
multiplayer. We can
yeah. We can
check it
play.
out. We can find a third um, 187, and we will get the match going and get in there and try and figure it out. The one thing I will say is if you're going to play it, right? There's a lot of microtransact. I mean, it's like Fortnite. There's a season pass. There's extra stuff you can pay for, but it's like you gotta your wheels, your gloves, everything can be bought. Everything can be paid for. um they don't give you anything other than cosmetics. They just look different, like the poop emoji helmet. I mean, who wouldn't want that? But pretty sure the poop emoji helmet will um let me see here. The poop emoji helmet's probably setting you back about $5 for one helmet, and I'm not about that life. Well, I am actually, but only in Fortnite. And if it's, you know, uh, something that I'm interested in, like RoboCop, you put RoboCop in Champions, and I'm in. But until then, I don't know about it. I don't know. I mean, I want to try it with some friends to see what it's like if we're communicating with each other, if we're enjoying it. But outside of that, I don't know if it's something I'm going to be checking out much
Yeah,
more.
maybe we can become the top three roller champion players in the world.
Maybe we'll be the roller champions of the roller derby. Um, Wicked, what do you want to talk about next? What have you played?
Well, I did try out EXO One, which I play only for like a couple minutes. I can get really past the tutorial because I didn't know what it wanted from me.
Uh,
Because you played it, right?
I did play it, yeah.
Yeah, because it says to hold down the RT button to roll, and then let go to jump. But I didn't get what it wanted from me.
hmm Yeah. So it's kind of like momentum based. So you're kind of like, how would you describe it? Like a little disc almost.
Yeah, disc and a marble, or
Like
a marble
it,
that can flatten into a disc.
yeah. So it's basically a little ball, um, that rolls around on a desert ground. At least that's as far as I got. I never made it past that. But it's like a little ball, and then you're you want to get momentum, and you get the momentum from the wind, from the environmental hazards, like you're flying through the sky. When it works really well, and then when it doesn't work, it's just kind of, I just felt myself like flummoxed, where I'm just confused and not quite sure why it's not working right. But when it
Yeah,
does work right and it feels good, and you're dropping down below the clouds and then going back up on the clouds, it feels good. Once you get through that tutorial, I feel it's much easier to grasp and figure out what you're doing. But until it clicks, and if it doesn't click for you, then the game will never click. I don't think. But if you do happen to give it another chance or give it a go and just get a feel for it, it'll make more sense, I think. uh you'll get into the flow of the game, and then it's more enjoyable that way.
yeah, I can. It's in Game Pass, so I can always try it again until it leaves.
Yeah. hmm One thing I don't know why, I'm sure it doesn't have anything to do with anything, right? But I always look at not only do I look at the game, um, I go to the store page, and then I look and see how much it costs to kind of get a feel for the scope of the game. I know the price doesn't always match the actual scope, but sometimes it helps me get like, oh, okay. Like if I think a game, oh, this is a $40 uh game that's on Game Pass or something, but then it turns out no, it's like, you know, it's like $15. Then it's like, oh, okay. All right. Well, now it sort of puts my expectations in check. Although there are a lot of really good $15 games that I would say are better than a lot of $50, $60 games. I'm looking at you, Balan Wonder World. Okay?
Yeah,
But
one of the greatest games of our time.
that's true. There's a lot of jump buttons. That's all I'm gonna say. Um but yeah, the in terms of playing that, I just hmm, it's one I played a little bit. I actually recently had it downloaded, and then it was one of the things I deleted to make room for Sniper um
Sniper Elite 5.
Sniper Elite 5, which I haven't finished downloading yet. And I'm not sure if I'm going to um well, I'm going to download it, but I'm not sure if I'm going to like that game cuz I the other ones I've played before and they just didn't really they weren't vibing. They're just not the type of games I'm into usually. But I'm going to give it a try cuz it's on Game Pass, might as well. Mm. So you played that. I just want to talk about this Atomic Crops, right? Atomic Crops is on Game Pass. I feel it's one of the most overlooked games. It's a roguelike game that is also a, um, like a farming game. You're harvesting your crops. It's just, it's just so good. But anyway, so that's what that is, right? And it is a game that I don't even know how to describe it other than I'm having a good time with it. And they recently and by recently I mean just today released some DLC for it, right? And they released this DLC. It's $4.99, and so I wanted to play it on the Switch, but the DLC wasn't out on the Switch yet. Um, but it was being sold in the store, and so I just got it with some of my uh,
Rewards points.
rewards points. Yeah, and so I got it with the rewards points, and it's I I'll be honest, I forget the name of it. The DLC. I think it's
Reap what you crow or
reap what
something
you
like that.
crow. Yes. So you reap what you crow, and so basically what it does is it adds a different character. Okay, there there's another character in the game, and you get a crow. There's certain weapons, like new weapons that you get, and it's just yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's mm, it you know how some people just keep going back to I want to say keep people keep going back to some card-based games or like some roguelites, like whether it's Hades or whatever it is, but this one is it for me. It's like a twin stick shooter basically, right? A twin stick shooter, harvesting, crafting, farming, not crafting, twin stick shooter farming game. There was another twin stick shooter idle game that I was really into that's on it's on everything. But um now you know what? I can't even think of the name of that game. It's gonna bug me. But yeah, it's you know what? It's probably a game that I own. So we're gonna move on to the next game. You were playing something else, but yeah, that is $4.99. It's Atomic Crops is on Game Pass, so you can just download it, even if you don't get the DLC, because it's just a new character. It's a crow. It adds some weapons, which I believe you get the weapons. You don't have to be the crow in order to get those weapons. It's just they changed up a little bit. It this update came out on PC in December of last year, and it came out on PC and just recently came out on the Xbox and Xbox Switch. I don't even know if it's on the PlayStation, but it's out there now, and it's definitely a game that I keep going back to. I just keep playing it. I will say this, the achievements seem very hard. I'm looking at the achievement when I look at the achievement list, I'm not looking at it right now, but I looked at it earlier today and most of the achievements are they are done by about 8 or 9% of the the people that played the game.
Yeah, but if you get those achievements, you feel pretty good about yourself because you know not a lot of people are going to do it.
Yeah, there's probably not that many that will do it. Um, but definitely one that I enjoyed. And what about you? Is there anything else you played this week?
Well, I did try Ogre Console Edition.
Yeah.
Now it's based on an old tabletop game, and it's on PC, I think too. But for me, the controls are kind of wonky on console because it's a hex-based strategy game, so you're going to move around a lot, and I don't think that works well with the thumbstick. And you have to hit, I think it's like clicking the left stick to switch between the battlefield and the menus, so this gets confusing. And then stacking units on top of each other, sometimes that doesn't work right. Where you'll select a stacked unit, it'll tell you you need to select them both or something like that. Just kind of weird. It's I don't know. It's got to be a game where you need a lot of time and to play it and then strategize. Yeah, I don't know if you tried that or not.
Yeah, I played a little bit. I I agree. I didn't it wasn't it was pretty rough. First of all, it's one of the games we both have it, right? I think I
Yeah,
might have already deleted it honestly. It does not have an icon for some reason
yeah. But
in
on
in the
Xbox
store.
mobile app, it does have an icon.
In the Xbox, yeah. Plus, if you look at the game's card, it does have a game card. But it is, it feels like a one of those old like turn-based um, RPGs, like,
Yeah,
but it uses a lot more like dice rolls and things like that.
yeah, yeah. And the good thing is you can turn off all that stuff, like all the animations and stuff, to speed it up. And it does have like a 5 times speed, so it doesn't go super slow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah. It's
it's not a game for us, I think.
yeah, it's definitely not a game for me. I got it on the Switch as well. We should say they gave us a code for it. Um,
But
and they gave me a code for the Switch version. I downloaded the Switch version today, and I just haven't gotten around to playing it again. But
yeah, I would think the Switch version would be a little bit better because you can hopefully has touch controls. And just for me, that would be a lot easier just to click the units where they want to go and all that.
yeah, I don't know if it does have a touch controllers or not. Some games do, but then other games that you would expect, like, oh, this would be perfect for that, they just don't have it because there's a lot more development that goes into adding the touchscreen. I imagine at least getting the precision of it right, as opposed to just adding it and just being like, well, I guess it's fine, you know.
Yeah, did you play anything else?
Yeah, I think we both played this next game, which came to Game Pass this week. Um, which is Floppy Nights. Now, Wicked, what did you think of Floppy Nights?
Well, first off, I thought it was like a beat 'em up, just from the name or like the artwork too. I didn't really look into it, but I think it's a cool concept and it's got cool art style, good music, but it's not a game for me because it's like a tactics, another grid-based strategy game, which is fine, but I think it's a little bit too hard and there's not a lot of options to like turn the difficulty down or mess with the settings and stuff. So maybe I'll go back to it if I have a lot more time, so I can strategize more, play levels the way they want you to, I guess. Because like with the side objectives on there, sometimes it's like you can't lose a unit, and that's kind of hard without knowing what you're doing. But
Mm-hmm.
I think it's okay. But I don't know if I'll go back to it.
You don't think you'll go back to it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe if I have more time.
Floppy Nights, Rose City Games. They went ahead and made this game, and I, unlike you, I did not think this. I should say just like you. I thought this was a different kind of game. I didn't know it was the type of game it is. You thought it was a beat 'em up. I thought it was like a roguelite, like what's the name of that one? Slay the Spire. I thought it was
Like
like that,
dungeons.
where where you
Yeah.
just have the dice or the cards, and
Hmm.
then go from there. But instead, it is a game like Wargroove that just left Game Pass. RIP. Um, it turns out it's like Wargroove meets, I don't even know, just Wargroove meets, yeah, it's like Wargroove Advance Wars with this card element, which makes your gameplay completely up to the luck of the draw. Like, I could play through a level and you could play through that same level, and it could be, exponentially harder for you than it was for me because I went ahead and played through and I got all the cards I needed, where you are not getting the cards you need. So it's oh geez, I don't know what that was. You get a it's all level based too. I didn't realize it was just like, okay, levels, let's bring up this level select screen. So
Yeah, I
every
didn't.
level you beat, you're you've got a main objective and a bonus objective. You get that main objective or that bonus objective and you unlock um money or cards. And then the cards you can put in your deck, and you put those cards in your deck, and um then one of your you can have up to 30 cards in your deck at any time. And then after you make it to a certain point, you beat a boss, and then you unlock another deck. So you once you have that second deck unlocked, you're looking at different cards. Some cards are going to work well with the deck you have, and some cards are not going to work that well with the deck that you have. But then you also have like another section where it unlocks certain cards depending on what you do in the game. Like you might get a bonus objective, and instead of actually just getting that card, it like unlocks it in the shop. Or you destroy you let's say you finish a level, right? And then your next level, they have like basically that same map, just a different scenario, and that is under the challenge levels, which is it's the same level pretty much that you just beat, but it's got a new stipulation, or you got to beat it in one round, or you can only use one character, or you have to do it in under 12 rounds. Um like that. So you basically you go through and you start a level, and then one thing that I've noticed that they've been doing is you get your cards, and then you'll beat something, and then it'll have a requirement for one of the missions, but the requirement seems like something you can't even imagine. And then a few levels later you're like, oh, I could use this card now to go get that challenge from that other level. But then it's like just forcing me to replay it just to get the card that I want, and it just seems kind of annoying. Same thing with the levels. Like, I know it is also like Wargroove in the sense that you have your enemy, uh, or your like leader, your team leader, and if they go down, they're done. So I've
Yeah.
found myself a lot of time just getting them. And then once you get enough cards to switch over and bring more characters, I usually hide the leader because I'm like, I don't need you anymore. You can. They also have these like little portals that every 3 turns a new enemy pops out, so the a never-ending supply of enemies unless you move one of your characters and put them on it. So then you sit there, and it's like the worst is when you know exactly what you need to do, but you're like, this is I know exactly what I need to do. It's almost like chess where you're moving the pieces, and you're like, I don't care where they move theirs because I know I can take these guys out with these moves. But you need to sit there for like 8 turns, because if you move that guy, then even more enemies are going to keep coming out, and then it's just going to make it artificially harder. I think it's
Yeah.
just something that I had high hopes for. I really like the look of the game. I really like what they're doing with that, but I don't necessarily enjoy the uh, the game itself as much as I thought I would. I will say at the same time, but by the time I got to where I am now, um, I got to another level. Like, it does feel satisfying when you beat one of those levels. But it's just it's just a lot of it's time consuming, and you could be about 45 minutes into a level, and then oh, I didn't get the cards I need, so this enemy died or this character died, but they didn't have to. If I had the right cards, it would have worked. It's just it's not my favorite part of the game is the card element, uh, as much as like just give me the tools of what to do. I know the problem is if you would have done something else and you would have just given us the objectives and then we would have just had those moves, then it would have just been too easy. So I could see where they're going with the cards, but um I it's kind of rough to be in this world of roguelites and roguelikes, um, to spend 45 minutes losing all because you didn't get the cards you need. But not only did you lose, but then the level just starts right back over from the beginning, and you just go from there, and it's nothing was gained. Like, you didn't get anything if other than frustrated. The only thing you got was frustrated because you're like, if you would have just given me the right cards, I could have done these moves differently, and then we would have been on our way. But I mean, that's fine if you want to add the card element. But then to when you die, you don't get any money, like for at least making it through a certain point. Maybe if they gave you money every time you kill an enemy, so then you can go and buy a card for your deck to make it a little bit easier to beat that level that you're on right now. It would feel better about it. I would feel better about it. But instead, we only get the coins if you finish the main and the bonus objective, and you don't know which one's giving you coins and which one's giving you a new card. You just don't know the difference with those. But
Yeah. Could you redo the challenge missions to get more coins, or is it one and done?
you can do the challenge missions, but you can only do them once. You've done a challenge, and once you've done the main objective and the bonus objective, if you go back and do them again, you don't get any reward for beating it again.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. You would think they would for at least the challenger one. You can get some money back, maybe like a little bit less each time you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's one thing in the gameplay with the board and the cards. You have to swap between the controls of the board and the cards
Oh
each time you
yes.
play something. Yeah, and then another thing, annoying thing is when you want to play another character, you have to drag it all the way back to your spawn point, which I don't get why it just doesn't appear right there.
Yeah. So you have your main character, which is always the first card you get, right? And
Yeah,
then you've got like a set number, whether it's like 5 or however many points, and it's based on what you, yeah, like you said, it's based on where your character is. So if my character is all the way on the right, and then it's like, oh, I'm gonna use this new character, right? I click on that character and then have to drag it all the way back over, like you were just saying, and boom, put them there. I mean, it's not that. It's one of those things that it's just like, oh, that's a sort of a goofy thing that isn't so bad. But the one thing is bad. It's like I move my character. Let's say you got a move card and you move them, and then you're like, okay, now I want to use my attack card, and instead of switching back, it it doesn't switch back and you're still moving the cursor around your character. So
yeah,
I'm already looking down at the card, the next card I want to play, but instead it's the cursor is moving around up on the player instead of on the card rack. And yeah, it's I guess the only other thing is if not all characters just do one attack. Some characters have like, there's one character with like a bazooka or a bow and arrow, and their attack, instead of just being the four squares around them, th- their attack is different, right?
yeah. It's like that poison one. It's diagonal on
Yes.
them.
Yeah. So you got to attack them on the diagonal, and which is fine. I mean, it. I have no problem with the characters having different attacks, but I would like it if when I'm moving a character, show me where their attack pattern is. Otherwise, you got to do the math in your head and be like, okay, I got to move them 2 blocks over to the right, and then you'll get it. And then if you you move them to the wrong spot, there's like no going back. It
Yeah, I
just
wish there was a undo button.
yeah, there's no
Or
undo
like
button, or
an
like even
option
if they
for
only
that.
give you a few of them each map, like oh, you can get 3 a map, you know, to like a mulligan or whatever. Even if they don't give you those, uh, it would be nice if they did. But yeah, but it's definitely one of those games that the more I play it, the more I'm enjoying it. It's just a matter of, um, it's just the I, it's funny because
Patience needed to play one of those games.
it seems like we're being quite negative about this game, but I
Yeah,
do enjoy it. But it's
yeah. I thought it was
just
pretty good when I
it's
was playing it, but
yeah, I think some
oh,
of it is it's like so close to being like great that it's like, oh, if you had just done a few little tweaks, it would be really good. I mean, some of the things are just quality of life improvements that we're talking about that could be changed in the options. They could be changed with updates. I mean, look at No Man's Sky just had a new update that came out, and it's got like sky whales and it's got all sorts of new stuff. They added a roguelite element to the game. Um and yeah, it's just a matter of time before they start adding it to other games, you know? We're not add it to other games, but just a matter of time before these other games because this game just came out this week. Who knows what this game could look totally different a year from now if they want it to. They could have daily runs, they could have daily runs as a way of you getting more coins and more money to buy cards, and they could do all sorts of stuff. They could do a crossover with Wargroove for all we know. But yeah, that is Floppy Nights, my dude. Floppy Nights. Um, Wicked. So, let me ask you this: have you been on the internet at all this week?
Every day so far, yes.
Every day. Okay. Have you seen? There was a Kotaku story that talked about Game Pass. Okay, and it said it used two people's tweets basically as an example as to why um, they why it's time to look at Game Pass, and it might be time to cancel your subscription. Maybe it's not for you anymore because there's no AAA games. It's some people have called it Indie Pass, Game Pass. Um, it's just I wanted to talk to you about indie games. What?
Yeah, some people call it lame pass.
Lame pass. Well, here's the thing: if you have anything, people are going to find things that rhyme with it that would make it just sound dumb, which would just make it sound goofy, or just any way they could dig at it, and
Yeah.
yeah, and it's just a matter of time before that happens. No matter what it is that you have, it's going to happen. Um, but to that effect, since there's not very many AAA games, especially from Microsoft themselves coming out this year, I figured we could talk about some of the best indie games on
Game
Game
Pass.
Pass. Yeah. Is there any that you have that you really enjoy?
There is one that's also card based, and we mentioned it a little bit. Dicey Dungeons. That's a good one.
Dicey Dungeon is a good one. Dicey
It's just,
Dungeons is a game that came out. It was a small team made this game, right?
yeah.
And it came out a few years ago on PC, and then I think it came out last year um,
Yeah.
on the Switch, and now it's here. It is. It's on Xbox. It came to Xbox, day and date Game Pass. What do you think of it?
I think it's pretty good. It's one of those games that you can always go back to it and just have fun playing with it. Just having run base. And there's multiple characters, so some characters are harder than others, which is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's like Slay the Spire, where you just do runs, couple runs a night, and then have fun, get some more experience in the game, learning the characters and building your deck the way you want to.
This one might be one of those games from what's it called, right? I can't
Uh,
remember, but is this one of those games that is touch controls for cloud?
it could be.
I think it might be. If even if it's not, it it doesn't need like precision aiming or anything like that. It's all turn based, and you can do one or two runs. This is one of those games I found myself saying, "Oh man, just all right, one more run. I'm gonna do one more run, and we'll see how it goes." Or I'm gonna do one more floor because in this game, you're going from floor to floor and making your way downtown, walking fast. Um, and you get different things and uh, if I remember correctly, nothing carries over from run to run, right? It's just the characters. It's like if you get
Yeah,
far enough, you'll eventually unlock another character, right?
yeah, yep.
Yeah.
I,
So this is a roguelike. So there's roguelite and roguelike. And roguelike is rogue. So the game Rogue back in the day Fun fact, back in the day there was a game called Rogue. It came out and it would be like, okay, you die, it just you start back over at the beginning after you're dead. And the only thing that you that carries over is the knowledge that you gained from beating or playing that game. And so then the more you play it, the more you're going to be like, "Oh, okay. You know how to take on this enemy now that you didn't know how to take on the first time you did." And as opposed to roguelikes or roguelites, which is kind of like Rogue, but they're a little more generous and they give you things that will help you make progress your next run. And they do that um, with things like you might have more health. Maybe you start off with +4 attack as opposed to starting off with +2 attack. Things like that. But this is a roguelike, so nothing carries over from run to run outside of your knowledge, and it's randomized, so each floor is going to look different every time you jump in. But you got to keep making progress to unlock all the characters, and you
Yeah.
level stuff up while you're playing the game, and then next run you start back over at level 1. Yeah. And so Dicey Dungeon out now on Game Pass. Uh just be sure, go ahead, check it out. You know what I'm saying? So, I wasn't gonna pick another game from that is a rogue like
Yeah.
or rogue light, but
My
I was
next game
like,
is gonna be that too.
what'd you say?
My next game is gonna be another roguelike.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh boy, there's just so many. Um, there's a lot of these games that are on uh Game Pass are fun games that you can just hop in. Like there's just so many games on here that you just hop in and play, and then you're like, let me just check it out, see what it's like. I mean, we got 12 minutes, which is very story based, and it's definitely one of those games that's like you're learning things as you go on, and you're trying to you know what, now that I think about it, some people, maybe it is like a story game, or some people might consider it a rogue-like game because you're going through playing it and then using the things you learned from the last run to dive into this next one. um Real quick, I want to talk about Echo Generation.
I played
um
that too.
Echo Generation is a bit of a simplistic, I wouldn't call it simplistic. It is a like a voxel turn-based RPG where it kind of looks like um let me see how would I would say it's like an old school RPG, like maybe Paper Mario or something like that, because when you're attacking enemies, you are hitting A right as you attack to do more damage, or hitting A right as they attack you to block it. And you're running around. I think it's summertime. You're running around with your sister, and eventually your dog. I think you unlock a cat, and you
Yeah.
meet a cat, and you also meet a. I don't remember if it's like an alien or a robot, but yeah, it is definitely a turn-based RPG. The vibe I got from playing it was, oh, this is going for like one of those like old like mm, I guess like Stranger Things or uh
Unsolved mysteries.
The Sandlot, stuff like that. Yeah. And yeah, that's Echo Generation. And the reason we're talking about these indie games is because um when I talk to people about these games, right? I go on, like, you can go on to the store. I'm not going to do the one part, but if you go onto the store, it'll tell you how many of your friends have played this game. And then you can go in and look and see how long each of those friends have played the game for. And uh, the big games like let's Echo Generation has 32 people that played it, right? 32 other people that played it. And then let's just look at something like um, Halo Infinite, right? Which
Yeah.
Halo Infinite actually doesn't allow you to look to see how many people have played it. Okay, that's good. Well, maybe we'll go look at something like, we'll see if maybe Minecraft Dungeons will let us check and see. But yeah, Minecraft Dungeons is it's I got 72 friends that played this. Also, I've got like 400 friends, so maybe that has something to do with it. I've got a lot of friends, but even still, there are 72 of my friends that played that, or probably a lot that ended up playing something like Forza Horizon. But then you
Yeah.
you look at the other games, and you're trying to see how many people um how many people play these new games when they come out. There's a lot of indie games that are probably played by much fewer than you would think. Like there's 13 or so for what is it, Umurangi generation.
Yeah. But
But
is that could be like because it just came out too? No,
right, yeah. Some of the, I
that
mean, like 14 players for floppy nights is I think pretty good, um, considering the game type, And then, but then some of the games, it's hard to tell how many people played it because of Game Pass and how many people played it because of something like if it's not day one Game Pass, like Jurassic World Evolution 2. But yeah, the reason we wanted to talk about these indie games is because there's a lot of really good indie games on here, and they're not always being talked about. Or when people are like, "Oh, I want Game Pass," I want Game Pass for a lot of those indie games, and then the icing on the cake is just getting, you know, all the Microsoft games, like the fact that I got to play, um I can hop on here on the Game Pass and go to like Gears Tactics. Gears Tactics is a game that I wanted to play, but I didn't want to buy, right? And
yeah.
I just wouldn't want to buy it, but I can just hop in and play it on the Xbox thanks to it being on Game Pass. And those are few and far between, right? Like no matter what system it is, whether it's Microsoft, Sony, or Nintendo, the first party games, even if Microsoft or Sony and Nintendo were to do the same thing with their first party games, they're few and far between compared to all the indie games that are out there padding the the rest of the year.
Yeah. Yep.
And
Yeah. If you ever looked at the store, on either I mean console, it's mostly indie stuff that are always
right, yeah.
every day.
I mean, yeah, if you look at the Nintendo Switch eShop, everyone loves the Nintendo Switch eShop. You go look at like the best selling games. There's always like Stardew Valley's always on there. You got games that are just always on that best sellers list, and a lot of them are the indie games. Like it's just definitely the reason why we wanted to talk about them. It doesn't hurt that we don't have a lot of news or new releases that came out, so we can talk about them more here. What about you said there was another game you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, it's called Into the Pit. Now this one's another roguelike. It's got like the PS1 style graphics, so that's probably a turnoff for a lot of people. But I thought this was really good. It's a um, first person dual wielding magic shooter. So it's sort of like old school or like levels of shooters where it's just an arena, you going around shooting stuff with magic,
Mm-hmm.
and each time you clear a room, you get to choose other items like to upgrade your health or damage or afflictions for your spells, and just you can choose what room you want to go into. Maybe it's like a safe room to heal up or to get more currency for other stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's a floor based one too. And then once you get down to the part of the level, it's a boss battle, which is pretty easy. Once you know what you're doing and then doing like the OP combos that you can get in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you play that, but I think it's pretty cool. It's for me, I would say start out slow because some of the enemies are just like hiding around corners and they can damage you pretty badly at the beginning if you
Yeah.
don't know what you're doing.
Um.
Just and then once you level up more and more, you can play more aggressively because some of these powers you can every time you kill an enemy you can heal yourself back. So it's just gotta like pull and push and pull on what you want.
Oh yeah. So that is Into the Pit. That is on Game Pass right now and Cloud, right?
Yeah, I think it's Cloud.
Um. It. You also played a little Moonglow Bay.
Yeah, I started that up. That seems like it's a good cooldown game where you just play for a little bit, go fishing and do some quests, and then play for and then play something else, and then come back to it for a little bit. I need to
Yeah.
go back to it, but I think I'm in this spot where I need to finish the stuff I'm started on, and I'm almost done with it because I'm always on Samurai Warriors 5, pretty much. Trying to do this video, and then I just need to finish that, and then I can just go to other stuff because it's so. I don't know. I don't know what it's. Maybe it's like subconsciously is saying just finish this up first, then go off to do something else.
Yeah. Well, Moonglow Bay is definitely a game that seems like it's going to take up a lot of your time. It's going to take up a lot of time to do everything, whether whether it is you going and playing. So basically, you're starting your own shop selling
Yeah.
fish,
Yeah.
and you end up opening up uh your own
Business.
shop,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you get your boat back up and running, and you go around fishing, and you upgrade your fishing rod. You get like a net, and you're gonna want to go fishing, and while you're doing that, you're also getting recipes and selling, making these fish for people around town, and like just expanding on your own shop. And yeah, so it's definitely one of those games where it's going to take up quite a bit of time if you want to own the corner in the fish market, you know?
Yeah. I did a little bit of the cooking, and I thought that mini game was kind of confusing, but once I get more into it, I'll probably figure it out.
Yeah. I, I will say it starts off sad. So
Yeah.
brace yourself for that. And then it goes from there. But yeah, it is Moon Glow Bay. That is on Game Pass. It came out October 25th, 2021. So probably still got a few months before it ends up leaving, if it is in fact a 1 year Game Pass game. Um, Is, Wicked, can you think of, was there any other games that you played, or you think you have suggested enough that are not Paw Patrol?
On Paw Patrol. Can do some easy gamer score stuff if you want.
Easy gamers. What's some easy gamer score on Game Pass? Anything?
Well, Memoir Blue, that would be like an hour long.
Yeah, Memoir Blue, of course, Memoir
Yeah.
Blue, which is
It's
it.
more of a interactive movie than a game.
Yeah, you're sitting there, the story unfolds in front of you, and then you press like A
Yeah, and you
to,
do some interactables, do some little puzzle stuff,
yeah, but
and
it
that's what
does
the
look
achievements
pretty good,
are. Yeah, looks pretty good. The
like
achievements are
the
like,
art style, I should say.
yeah, like the achievements are like take all the ice cubes out of the glass of water, light up the cranes and billboard stuff. If you read the achievements, you'll know what they're talking about, and there's chapter selectors, so there's nothing really to miss.
If you read the achievements, or what to do with the achievements, does it spoil the
Yeah.
story for you?
No, I'm not. I don't think it does, but you could watch a guide either way if you're worried about that.
Okay, but it can all be done in one run, but there are missable
Yeah.
achievements, is what you're telling me.
Well, I wouldn't say missable, but since there's chapter select, but
Right. Well, I'm saying if you were to just play it, you
yeah,
might
you're
miss
probably
some. If like, not everyone's gonna think, let me knock all these glasses, because you kind
yeah,
of like play a little spark that is you're moving around the screen, the cursor, and that is moving the story forward.
yeah.
Um, so is there any other Game Pass games that you think are easy achievements?
There's Deer Simulator, your average everyday deer game.
Yeah, there is Deer Simulator. That game is bananas. Deer
Yeah,
Simulator.
yeah,
And so you're saying Deer Simulator is easy achievements.
yeah. You might have to look up some guides to figure out what to do. I can't remember,
Yeah, probably.
but yeah, it's pretty easy. Maybe like 1 to 2 hours.
Okay, 1 to 2 hours, Deer Simulator. I will say, just know if you're hopping into Deer Simulator, it it's kind of wonky. Like the
Yeah,
animations are weird. The You're like basically a deer running around on its I think, yeah, like a
yeah,
deer and a man like come together or something.
yeah, yeah. It's sort of like a goat simulator, that type of game. If you ever played that.
Yeah, where it's just like it's supposed to be a bunch of um just a bunch of different stuff coming together to make a wild game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Deer Simulator. All right. Well, Wicked, I don't even know what else there's to say about it other than we've covered a couple indie games. There's, of course, there's also b- good, like big games that you don't want to miss out on, like Burnout Paradise Remastered, like games like Battletoads, which, well, let's be honest, that's not going to be for everybody, but no game is. I don't know any game that is for everybody. Um, Wicked, I think that might be the end of our show. Is
Yeah.
there anything, listen, is there anything that you think between now and this time next week, any games that you want to check out and play, or you think you want to play, that you can think of, other than, well, even if it is, I should say, making more progress in Samurai Warriors 5?
Well, probably. Hopefully, I can get progress done in that because I think I can get most of what I want to do done this weekend.
Okay.
Because I'm like, right now I'm like almost 60 hours in, so I'm almost done getting all the S ranks and all the objectives done in the story.
Yeah. So that's your plan, is to get more of that. Is there anything else you're planning on playing this week coming up?
Probably checking out Sniper Elite 5, just coming out today or tomorrow.
Yeah, it's out. It came out. Well, it's out now. So yeah, it would have came out on Wednesday and going into Thursday. Um, I got a code, or I'm getting a code for my YouTube channel. I don't know for what system they're sending it to me, but it is
A mystery.
it's a mystery. They're either going to send me an Xbox version or they're either sending me the Xbox version or the Switch version, and it is Silt. It is like the black and white indie game that kind of looks like Limbo, but you're underwater, and yeah, it's definitely a game I want to check out. I'm looking forward to checking that out, and I also maybe even after we're done recording here, I want to play start from the beginning, either Blue Dragon or Lost Odyssey. I think I want to
Oh,
play one of those this week. We'll see.
yeah, that sounds pretty good. I need to go back to Lost Odyssey. I never played it on this account, and I never beat it anyways because I
It,
was
yeah, it was
young
like
for that.
4 discs, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was definitely. It's really weird because every single video that I've been watching in the Xbox store, right? It's been playing about 3 quarters of it and then it stops. It never fails. No matter how big the video is, it always stops at 3 quarters
that's
of
weird.
the way through. But yeah. So that's Silt, and then probably I'm kind of leaning towards mm, I don't know. Here's the problem. Here's the conundrum I'm working with right now. I July has so July has Live Alive on the Switch and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Those are two really long RPGs. So I'm not sure if a long RPG is something I'm going to get into right now, but I
Yeah,
kind of want to check it out and just dive in and see how it goes. But then another part of me wants to check out, start over. I think I have 990 gamer score uh, in this game, and it is Viva Pinata. Viva Pinata is a game that I kind of want to start over and just go back through and do all the have all the mating calls with all the different uh, pinatas and everything. I think maybe I might have talked myself into playing Viva Pinata after
yeah.
we're done recording this.
What about Viva Pinata Party Animals? Wasn't that just with games with gold
Yeah,
too?
that was just games with gold. I might be checking that out too, especially because May 28th, 2017, this cured my depression. Somebody said reviewed this game, gave it 5 stars, said it's peace and quiet, and there is pinata animals. Game of the year, banana emoji. What more do you need, folks? Check out Viva Pinata. Wicked, where can people find you?
At my name is Wicked on Twitter. Well, the Wicked Soul SBL on YouTube. Uh, the Wicked Soul YT on TikTok. I should probably make more TikToks, but I just don't want to.
Well, then you shouldn't make them if you don't want to. Just you don't
Yeah,
have
because
to.
it's always like my phone always is dead, mostly dead when I come home from work. So it's like, I'll
Yeah.
charge my phone up and then do a TikTok, but I never do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where can
Yeah.
people find you?
Or get more outlets, so you can charge
Yeah,
it.
or get the charger for work.
Yeah. Yeah. Why haven't that could be another thing you could investigate. But yeah, you can find me everywhere. Super Nintendo, pretty much on everything. Um, yeah, like I said, we'll be back next week. You can either hit us up on Twitter at Stay Connected, or hit us up on stayconnected@gmail.com. Look out for the Twitter on Super Nintendo. I'll probably be tweeting out the day of our predictions
Patreon.
episode, and we'll go from there. But anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll talk at you next week. Toodaloo.
See you.